Your user clicks send and then nothing. 3 seconds pass. 5 seconds? They're staring at a loading spinner, wondering if the app crashed. Meanwhile, ChatGPT is already 3 paragraphs into a response before most apps even return their first byte. The difference isn't faster models, it's streaming. And implementing it wrong is the number one reason AI apps feel sluggish. Today, you're going to learn how to make your AI application feel instant, even when the model takes 10 seconds to think. Let me show you what I mean. Here's a typical AI API call. We send a prompt, await the response, then display it. Simple, right? But watch what happens from the user's perspective. They type a question, hit send, and the UI just freezes. No feedback, no progress, nothing. For 8 full seconds. The model actually started generating tokens within 200 milliseconds, but the user saw none of it. To understand why streaming matters, you need to know how language models actually work. They don't write entire paragraphs at once. They generate one token at a time, roughly one word or word piece per step. GPT-4 might generate 50 tokens per second. So for a 500 token response, you're waiting 10 seconds for the complete output. But here's the key insight. That first token is ready in under a second. Streaming lets users see progress immediately instead of waiting for the entire generation. Think of it like watching a letter being written versus waiting for it to arrive in the mail. With traditional requests, you send your prompt. The server generates everything, packages it up, and sends the complete response. With streaming, you get a live feed. Each token arrives the moment it's generated. Same total time, radically different user experience. The perceived latency drops from seconds to milliseconds. The underlying technology for streaming AI responses is usually server-sent events, or SSE. Unlike WebSockets, which are bidirectional, SSE is a one-way channel. Perfect for our use case where the server pushes data to the client. The client opens a connection using the EventSource API, and the server sends messages in a specific text format. Each message has a data field, and messages are separated by double new lines. The browser handles reconnection automatically, and it works over standard HTTP. OpenAI makes streaming dead simple. You add one parameter, stream set to true. But now instead of getting a response object, you get an async iterable that yields chunks. Each chunk contains a delta, the new content since the last chunk. Let me show you the minimal implementation. Notice we're iterating with 4 await of, and each chunk's delta might contain content, or it might be empty for the final chunk. Let's inspect what these chunks actually look like. Each chunk is a chat completion, chunk object with an ID, model info, and a choices array. The key part is choices.delta. This contains only the new content for this chunk, not the full message so far. The first chunk usually has role, assistant but empty content. Middle chunks have content. The final chunk has an empty delta, and finish reason set to stop. Understanding this structure is crucial for proper handling. Now let's build a proper streaming endpoint. We're using Express, but this pattern works with any Node framework. The critical part is setting the right headers. Content type must be text, EventStream, and we need cache control and connection headers for SSE to work properly. Then we iterate over the OpenAI stream, and for each chunk we write it in SSE format. The word data, a colon, the JSON payload, then 2 new lines. Notice we're calling response. Write, not response. Send. We keep the connection open. On the client side, the browser's EventSource API handles SSE connections natively. You create an event source with your endpoint URL, attach a message handler, and you're done. Each time the server sends a chunk, your handler fires with the data. But there's a catch. EventSource only supports GET requests. For POST requests with a body, you need the Fetch API with a different approach. Let me show you the native EventSource first. Then we'll upgrade to Fetch. For POST requests with complex bodies, we use Fetch with the ReadableStream API. This is more flexible but requires manual parsing. The key is accessing response.body, which is a readable stream, then using getReader to read chunks. Each chunk is raw bytes, so we need a text decoder. We also need to handle SSC parsing ourselves, splitting on double new lines and extracting the data field. It's more code, but it gives you full control over the request. Let's package this into a reusable React hook. The hook manages loading state, the accumulated message, and any errors. We use useCallback to create a stable send message function, and we update state as chunks arrive. The key detail is using the functional setState form, prev message plus new content, because state updates might batch. We also handle cleanup if the component unmounts midstream using an abort controller. Streaming introduces unique error scenarios. The connection might drop mid-response. The model might hit a content filter. The server might time out. You need to handle errors both at the connection level and within the stream itself. On the server, wrap your stream iteration in try-catch and send an error event if something fails. On the client, check for non-200 status codes before reading the stream and handle read errors gracefully. Always provide a way for users to retry. Backpressure occurs when the client can't process chunks as fast as the server sends them. Maybe the UI update is expensive or the network is slow. If you ignore backpressure, you'll buffer chunks in memory until you crash. The solution is to respect the reader's space. With node streams, you can use the drain event. With the OpenAI SDK, the async iterator handles this automatically. Each iteration waits for the previous write to complete. But watch out if you're batching UI updates. With streaming, you don't get a usage object in each chunk like you do with non-streaming responses. Token counts arrive only in the final chunk, or sometimes not at all. For accurate billing and rate limiting, you need to either count tokens yourself using ticktoken or enable stream.options. Include by usage in your request. This adds a final chunk with the complete token usage. Here's how to capture it while streaming. In production, you often need to transform the stream, adding metadata, filtering content, or converting formats. Instead of mixing this logic with your root handler, use a transform stream. Node's transform class lets you intercept chunks, modify them, and pass them along. This keeps your code modular and testable. Here's a transform that adds timestamps to each chunk and filters out empty content. If you're using Next.js or a Vercel deployed app, the Vercel AI SDK abstracts all of this. On the server, you return a streaming text response. On the client, the use chat hook handles everything: state management, streaming, error handling, even optimistic UI updates. It's not magic. It's just a well-designed wrapper around the patterns we've covered. Let me show you how little code you actually need. Debugging streams is tricky because data flows continuously. My favorite technique is a logging pass-through that prints each chunk without modifying it. You can also use browser dev tools. Open the network tab, find your request, and switch to the event stream view. It shows each SSE message as it arrives. For server-side debugging, pipe your stream through a simple transform that console.logs before passing through. Just remember to remove it in production. Let's see the real impact. I ran the same prompt through both approaches, blocking and streaming, and measured time to first byte and total response time. Blocking, 8.2 seconds to see anything. Same 8.2 for completion. Streaming, 180 milliseconds to first token. Same 8.2 seconds total. The total time is identical, but perceived latency dropped by 97%. That's not an optimization. That's a completely different user experience. Let's recap the 3 things you now understand. First, streaming works because LLMs generate tokens sequentially. You can show each token the moment it's ready. Second, server-sent events give you a simple protocol for server-to-client streaming over HTTP. Third, the implementation pattern is straightforward. Stream, true on the API call, proper SSE headers, and async iteration on both ends. Next up in our AI engineering series, we're covering function calling and tool use. How to let your AI actually do things in the real world. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and drop a comment. What's the first feature you're going to stream in your app?